listening to the Money Monopolizers podcast, helping you take control of your financial destiny. It's about time that we invest more in our financial literacy and work towards building generational wealth. If you think you're ready to do the same, then you've come to the right place. Alex, Marlon, y'all ready? Let's get this bread.
What's good, everybody? It's Alex Kamunya here. We are back with episode 144 of the Money Monopolizers podcast, and I'm here with my co-host Marlon Walls. Marlon, how you doing today?
I'm in a good space, to be honest, man. I just feel blessed to be alive right now, but been in a serious grind mode lately, like as far as just trying to scale everything that I'm doing in regards to both things that we're doing like on social media as well as what we're doing offline with just the rental cars themselves. Actually, I feel like we're on the verge of a breakthrough, to be honest, because we just got 4 new cars through one of our financiers, just like all within our business, but by ourselves. So no leveraging personal credit, no longer. Now it's just like 4 cars all at one time. We actually talked to her. She said, we asked her, what cars do you have available that we want to go after? She said, okay, we got 50 of these passenger vans, and then we have like 30 of these like minivans. And she was like, okay, so how many would you like? So basically we had to put down a deposit to get them right now. And as long as we got the deposit, you can do it. You can get as many cars you want.
How much is the deposit? Deposits
are just pretty much worth 1 month of their payment. So these are 1 month payment. Yeah, exactly. So it's like how you do rent, where you do first month's rent, and then also like first and last month's rent, what people will say. Yeah, it's very similar.
Have they been rented already?
So no, they're in transit right now to get here. Okay. And so we ordered 4 of them. I talked to my dad. I'm like, so how many you want? Like that's literally the question. Now it's not how do you get them. It's how many would you like? Yeah. So we're on the verge of a breakthrough because I'm trying to get more lenders that are like that. Yeah. And some of them actually won't require the deposit either. And so the more people that we get out that are like that, the more we'll have.
Weren't you saying a couple weeks ago that we'll talk about that off the air, but no, that's fire. I think that's gonna be huge to have access to that.
Yeah, so that's why I'm super excited, because I know that is on the horizon, and it's just a matter of getting all of our ducks in a row. Like I think just like the little basic things like structuring our business, like making sure we have the right insurance coverages, trying to get our offline with like a dealership lot, where a lot of little things that need to be in place. Once those are in place, man, there is no limit. Yeah. Like I'm really adamant about that. Like I see the potential. So it's like, just keep churning the iron, to keep on pushing forward, and it's on the verge. So I'm very excited for what's coming.
No, I'm excited to see what it'll be, so by the end of the year.
Yeah, for sure. So that's me though. So, like I said, in a very blessed state. How about yourself?
No, the same, man. I can't complain at all. Blessed to just be here. And I think, I've been working on a lot of things, something all year. I can't really speak about it on the podcast, but it's just something that we'll kind of see how things go. But I'm excited to see where we'll be, or where I'll be in a few really months, and really just in a year. Just because it's like, I don't know. I just love this journey of like the challenges. I love the challenge of doing things and just like trying to figure. It's so like I wake up every day excited to like, just do something and learn something new and improve. Like, it's funny because I don't know. I think of Kobe. One thing one thing that Kobe Bryant said that, always resonated with me was talk about being impatiently patient, to where like, in order to really stay committed, or in order to really like see major progress in something, you have to be impatiently patient. And what that means, it's like, I know that it's going to be a process to get somewhere. I know it's going to take time to get somewhere. I know that. But every day I wake up and I'm like, okay, maybe tomorrow's the day. Maybe today's the day. Like every single day I wake up, and if it wasn't today, cool. Okay, tomorrow. And if it wasn't that day, cool. Okay, it'll be tomorrow. And if it wasn't this day, cool. Okay, it'll be tomorrow. And that's really like my mindset every day, where it's like, every day I wake up and it's like, I want to see more breakthrough. I want to see more improvement. I want to see something, because it's like, because you're not just chilling, sitting back like, oh, I'm waiting my turn. Ain't no waiting your turn. Like, I know, like, every day I'm I'm ready. Like I'm patient. I'm pushing, but I know it's still a process. So that's why I don't get upset about like, hey, damn, when is this gonna happen? I know it's gonna happen. It's just about time. So it's like every day I wake up and it's like, yo, I'm impatient. I'm ready, and it's like maybe it'll be today. If it's not today, dang, it wasn't today. Okay, maybe tomorrow. Okay, maybe tomorrow. Okay, maybe tomorrow. And it's like after some time, if you keep doing that, you'll be so far ahead of anyone else that was just patient and just kind of like letting things happen to them. It's because you stay impatient, but at the same time you understand it's going to be a process. You apply that methodology to anything, you will make quantum leaps in a very short amount of time. And that's why, you know, people like that was the mentality Kobe had when he came into the league, where it was like, yo, I know that I have a lot of work to do and I haven't got to that point, but like every day I'm putting in so much work that we're like, by the time 5 years from now, my age mates, my pyramid, the people I came into the NBA with, I'm gonna be so far ahead of them. There's no way they can catch me. I've spent so much time on this craft, on this thing, that's like, there's no way you're gonna be able to catch me. So that's like how I approach every day. I
love that analogy, man, because he comes in with an initial goal of saying, I'm trying to be the best. I'm trying to dominate whoever's in my way. And so if you haven't, so you can evaluate each and every day at the end of the day and say, I haven't gotten there yet. So you wake up the next day and say, what work do I need to do to get to that level? And I'll just put in as much work as I can during that particular day. You reevaluate again. Am I there yet?
Nope.
Not yet. Come back the next day and keep on going. Now that mentality of saying that I have my goal and nothing's gonna stop me from getting there besides time, I'm gonna keep on doing it every single day.
You can't fail.
You can't fail.
It's impossible because if you know you're gonna reach it and it's just a matter of time, the only thing that can stop me is if I stop.
Yep.
And you know you're not gonna stop. So it's like there's no impossible way I cannot get that goal. It's literally impossible for me not to get it unless I stop, but I know I'm not gonna stop. So what does that tell you? Just time.
There's nothing but time in between there.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of continuously refining like what I need to work on today to get to that goal. So that goal is still there. I've accomplished a lot of things already up to this point. What's next?
Yeah.
Because I'm still, there's still work that needs to be done to get there. Why haven't I got there yet?
And the only thing that I know that I can do to control that time gap is the amount of effort that I'm putting in.
That's it.
So it's like I can either let that gap increase or decrease. And if I want to decrease that gap, got to increase my effort. It's a inverse correlation to it, really straight up. Sir. It's like an equation. So and that's really how I look at things. That's really how I approach things. That's why I love the journey. And that's why I understand why people say, you know, the journey is much more enjoyable than the actual destination is.
Enjoys in the journey.
Yeah, because you actually do. It's like this, you don't know when it's gonna happen. It's kind of like a casino. Like you don't, it's like one of my favorite books that I remember reading was it was called Digital Minimalism by Newport, and he talks about the kind of concept of how a lot of times, or social media and things like that are so addictive because it's like rewards that you don't know when they're coming. It's like, you can post something on social media, and the reason it's like you get so antsy about it, this is more so like I think earlier on, but most people are more used to it. But like it's that randomness of the reward, right? That's what makes it so enticing. It's the randomness of like, oh, did I get something? Oh, did someone comment? Oh, did someone like this? It's like it's the enticing thing about it, and that's how I look at like just the things I want to accomplish too. It's like I don't know when it's gonna come, but I know every day it's like, okay, wasn't today? Cool. Maybe it'll be tomorrow. Maybe it'll be next week. And it's just, you look up and you really feel the progress, and you can see yourself making progress along the way. You can feel yourself making progress along, and that's when it's like, man, woo-wee.
Especially I want to really hit on that join the journey piece, because I tell people a lot about this story now. There's two journeys that people usually go on. There's the physical, tangible journey, which you see the results, but then the really important part is the mental journey, who you're becoming in order to get to that goal that you have. Yeah. I think of multiple examples, but one is the example of like going to the gym. Like people may show up a certain way. They may be out of shape. They may be they're not where they want to be, but then they have a certain body that they want to get to. So along a year or so at a time, however long it takes, they go through a physical transformation of their body. But what was really important was what they went through mentally. They had to identify where they were today, where they wanted to be, and they had to become a different person that says, you know what, I'm willing to wake up and sacrifice sleep a little bit in order to wake up and grind in each and every day. Like my personal way that I approach a problem in my life is now changing. And so you can take that same mentality and apply it anywhere. So that's what's most gratifying, is becoming that person that says, I don't feel like waking up today to work out, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I have my goals in mind.
Yeah.
that part right there is really that's the most gratifying part. That's why people say it's joy is in the journey, because that's the transformation that they're experiencing.
Yeah, it's definitely twofold. Yeah, definitely. Like I love seeing both of that, like the mental development and the physical development of the manifestation of that as well. It's like, because that's the tangible thing I can see, but it's like, deep down it's changing and you're becoming a different person. And that's like, that's what life is about. Like having that thing every day where you can wake up and be like, man, I can't wait to do this. I'm excited to do this. And you want to get better at it. What is really life if you don't have that? Like, I would really suggest if anyone out there is just like working a job, or you're doing something that you absolutely hate. I'm not telling you to quit it, but just really think about that. That is not a life to live where you wake up and you don't want to do what you have to go do. Oh my gosh, that sucks. And that, for a period of time, everyone has to do that. You have to do things you don't want to do. That is also part of the journey at some point, doing things you don't want to do in order to become that person. Hey, I had to at some point do things I don't want to do so that I can all the time do what I want to do, right?
I think the key thing is like if you're doing what you don't want to do, it should at least be in line with what your goal is. Like
100%.
That's the key right there. I don't mind doing what I don't want to do if it's in line with my goal, because I know that
it's temporary.
The reward is greater than what I'm going through right now.
Yeah, and it's like, at some point I'm gonna be out of this. But I'm saying if you're indefinitely doing it, exactly, and there's like nothing enticing in your life at all, and there's nothing you feel like you're working towards, that's not a life living fulfilled. Like you're not living. This has nothing to do with money or anything. It's just about the way you feel about like what you do. It's like, do you truly feel like excited about what you want to do in life? And that is a real question beyond even financial freedom. Now, the best thing with financial freedom is when you can combine the two, where it's like, hey, I can do something I enjoy because it suits me. Like what I want, or like the way I see my life in the next 5 years, it's like I'm going to be doing something where I enjoy it and it's something that suits my personality, my temperament, and I love the challenge of it, and I love being able to get better and improve at it. Like that's something that is like, that's my kind of life worth living. Like that is, because I can that's something I can get better every single day.
Facts.
I can improve every single day. And there's nothing better in life to me than progressing and just getting better at stuff and just being better. I just love, I love competition. I love competing. And if I can, my best competition is always me. And if I can just compete with myself every day, it's like, man, I'm living good. I'm enjoying life. And so, all that to say, I'm doing well. So, but whenever this episode actually does release, I will be in Mexico whenever this releases.
Very dope.
So, yeah.
How long has it been since your last vacation, man?
End of May.
That's what I said.
Beginning of June.
I think I said it back then. You're gonna be due for. I think you came back saying, "I'm good. I'm good after that one." 3 months later, I think I said it too.
No, you did.
You'll be gone in about 3 months.
He said August.
Hey, I'm pretty accurate.
I didn't know though. I didn't know. It's kind of, I don't know.
You ain't gotta know. I just know it's coming.
Now, for real though, this one. Well, no, I have one in December, so I can hear. But that one was like, I didn't plan, like neither of these two was like my intention.
It's a quarterly trip. It just be like you be due for one.
That's funny. It really, did I take one in quarter one? I went to Miami. I went to Las Vegas.
You did multiple trips.
Yeah.
Like I think you did like you travel all of February. Remember that?
The entire month of February.
The entire month of February you was traveling. So.
So February I definitely traveled. Then I went to Colombia in the second quarter. Mexico this quarter.
Yep.
Going international again in December.
You, some quarterly travels. Like you're gonna be due for one.
I don't even, these last two I didn't mean for, but it is what it is.
Somebody listening like, bro, it must be nice. It's just I didn't mean for this vacation to happen. It just
hey man, I can't complain. I ain't gonna complain, man.
The vacation chose me. I didn't choose.
I'm sorry. I'm burdened with it, man.
I'm so sorry to hear that, man. That sucks.
It's just problems, man. But it is what it is. You deal with your problems, bro. But yeah, so we'll see. I'll report on that when I get back. Probably that'll be the next time we'll record.
Yep.
Actually, no, we'll probably might record before that. Actually, let me see.
What day you leave? It's easy.
The day this releases. So
18.
Actually, we might not have an episode for the week I come back.
Stay tuned.
Because I'm gonna be going that weekend.
Sheesh.
So, yep.
Stay tuned, y'all. Next week,
y'all gonna hope y'all enjoy this one because I don't know if we'll have one next week. We'll see.
This is part of the what it takes to actually do multiple things in general. So like when you like there's stuff behind the scenes that it's just hard to do everything at one time. So that's the reasons why.
Yeah.
Where they at this week? It's hard.
Yeah, it happens.
Doing
happens.
life. So yeah.
But yeah, let's kind of get rocking and rolling with this one. I know you had a topic that you wanted to kind of bring up, so let's kind of get into that. What I'll let you kind of kick it off, and then we can go from there.
Right. So this was, like I said, usually when I'm driving, I usually come up with a lot of different topics, and I think one thing that start really thinking about is how impactful this year has been for me in regards to the relationships that I built. And I think that along the journey of whether it's entrepreneurship or really just a financial freedom journey, you're going to need other people in your life. And I started thinking about like the person that may be listening to us, the people that they immediately see are typically like their friends and their family. So their first natural inclination is to want to go to them as far as for support in regards to like helping them out with whether it's financially or whether it's buying their products, buying whatever they're like, if they're an entrepreneur trying to like buying a product or service, or just looking for them to support financially, say, can you help me? Can you invest into me? And I think that's like one level of relationship, but there's multiple different ones that people will need along their journey. And I really started thinking, because I've heard a lot of people like in, let's say the morning meetup as an example, there's people that always come up with questions that say, how can I convince my significant other or my family or my parents to support me on my dreams? And that
You don't.
You already got your personal answer. I think that was my answer too. You really cannot, unless you have shown something. Reason being, I think back to our journey. When we first started our real estate journey, we really didn't bring anybody else in that journey until we were already well versed in our studies, for one, have purchased our own personal house. And then people are seeing that tangible results of what we're saying. So if I'm trying to convince somebody to work with, like to help me out along the way, who's easier to, who would you be more willing to help out? Somebody who is already like, who's already doing something, and now you can see that your support is actually going to help them increase their results, or somebody who doesn't show any type of tangible result, but they haven't done anything yet, but they asking for money. Like who?
So when you say support, are you saying like financial support or just emotional support?
A lot of times people are looking for financial support, I would say. Now, emotional support, anybody would be there, but I was really talking about
so
financial.
We're talking about financial support.
I'm talking about in this particular one, for this particular example, because for this relationship, people are usually looking for financial support from friends and family.
So people to give them money.
Yeah.
Okay, now I see where we're going.
Right. So there's multiple relationships that you'll need in your early on. So with friends and family, I'm targeting this one because I often see people looking for financial support from friends and family. And you making faces because you're already thinking like, why would you do that? People do this though, because like when they start a business, they're like, okay, so they should be rocking with me, right? If I start a business, you should be rocking with me, right?
They shouldn't.
So I want you to expound. You sound like you seem pretty adamant already. Like
let's just keep it real. I mean, why should they? Why should they make a financial investment?
They love me.
What does that have to do with their money? What does that I love you. That doesn't mean I need to give you money to do this thing that you just brought up to me. Where in your life have you proved to me that this is something that will be, beneficial, or something that, you, and again, I'm not telling anybody how to operate their relationships or nothing. I'm just telling this person that's seeking that, the person that's asking for money or financial support or whatever, understand why should they? Like, why? What have you shown to them to prove to them that you would be a viable candidate to be able to take whatever financial, or monetary investment or support that they give you and not blow it? What have you done? What skin in the game do you have? I'll never forget one of the first private investors that I went to. It's this guy in San Antonio. He listened to the podcast. He loved the podcast, everything. And it's like, I've known the guy for 2 years. It was, I don't know if you remember Will.
Yep. I was thinking that name. So I was like, I'm gonna know when I hear it. That's him.
Yeah. And this was like one of the first guys I ever met on my real estate journey.
Yeah.
And I remember I had bought a property already. I had did all this stuff. I had, did the podcast, was going to meetups, doing all these things. Mm-hmm. And I asked him, you know, I had a deal finally that came up because he had mentioned he was a private investor. I had a deal that came up and I asked him if he was interested in investing. I'll never forget this man. He always kept saying, he was like, do you have any skin in the game? He would always ask, you got any skin in the game? You got any skin in the game? And by the way, this was after I'd already done House Hack. I'd, you know, done all these different things, the podcast. He listened. He knows I'm not a fool. Right. He would still ask that. And it was like, at that point, I realized like, okay, dang, this is someone that like knows real estate. He's a real estate investor. He knows like all these different things. He has his own properties and things like that. And I've done something. He's still asking me that. Thanks. So it's like, as someone that hasn't done anything, why would you expect someone to make that investment in you? I had done a lot, and he was still asking me that. Do you have any skin in the game? Like, what are you putting up on the deal? It's like, I'm not putting up anything, but because that's how I wanted to structure my deals. Turns out, you know, I was able to find another investor after we've done a couple of deals where, you know, she had lent $300,000 to be able to fund investment deals because she had saw that we had done other things and had a proven track record prior to that. With the guy with Will, I'd only bought one house. Right. Well, I bought one house hack property. He came by, he saw it and everything. He loved it. And we drove by like, yo, I met his wife. I met his, you know, his family. Like, it was cool. But it's like, yo, at the end of the day, we talking business. We're talking money. Right. Put all that personal stuff aside. We're talking money. Yeah. And that's how you really got to look at this. Like, don't, just because they're your family or your friends or someone you know, what does that mean? Yeah. It's business. What is that? Who cares that they love you? What does that have to do with the fact? Are you going to be, you know, are you going to be capable, or do you have the competence to be able to manage this investment? Right. And probably not. Blow your own money first. Use your own money, and it's not even blow your money. Just put your own money up first. So, that's my response to anybody that's saying, hey, I can't get no support financially. I want to respond already, but I want to get your opinion on this too. So let's say I'm selling t-shirts as an example, and I want my family and my friends to buy my shirt. I'm not asking you for an investment as far as to be an investor in my deal. I'm looking for you to be my customer. That's a wrong approach too. Because at the end of the day, I think people need to understand it's not your close friends and family that's going to make you wealthy anyway. Exactly. Why does it matter if they buy your stuff? They're not the one. Are they going to buy every product from you? Are they going to spend $1 million with you? No, they're not. What does that one shirt matter? Oh, to show you you have their support, or they have your support, like, yeah, or you have whatever. It doesn't matter. That's not, like, you need a real business plan. If your business plan ever involved going to my family and friends to get my first sales, you got a lot of work to do, because your marketing's off, bro. Like, your marketing is off. So there's no conversation there, personally. Yep. So I just want to, I'm going to get my point, but I'm wrapping this up with saying that in the beginning of a financial freedom journey, you can either, in regards to family and friends, you can mess up a lot of relationships very quickly, because you are going to have a skewed view of them, because you are expecting their personal relationship to be leverage of why they should have a certain business relationship with you. No. And they never signed up ever to be your business partner or your investor or your customer when they signed up to be your friend. Or your employee. That too. Or your employee. That's not what they signed up for when they said, I'm gonna be your friend. Because you had a friendship before you had, or a family relationship before you decided that you wanted to go into a business venture, or before you decided you wanted to start investing and you're looking for some financial support. They're not your target audience for that. And because they're not, and you think that they should be supporting you, you're gonna have some disconnect, and that could strain the relationship. That's why I wanted to bring them up first, because a lot of people that's who they immediately see as far as who they could have as potential supporters when they start their investment journey. Yeah. And so I just wanted to address that relationship and understand that is not the relationship you should be looking for that financial support. And I'll even extend it to a significant other. So now this is my second one I wanted to talk about, as far as how to navigate financial freedom journey in regards to significant others. Because you may feel like they should either be the supporters, as far as like the financial supporters also, or should you have one in general? I really want to talk about that. Like, how does that look? Should you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend? Yes, or how does the financial freedom journey look in regards to having a significant other? Is that like should that be something that you consider? That's a good question. I think this is very interesting because we have different like experiences. Like
That's why I want to share both for sure.
Obviously, you are, with your long-term girlfriend almost, moving on, but it's something where, your experiences, you've been with her since before you was with the journey. Obviously, right. I've been, doing my own thing, since like, before this journey, it's been the same situation. So for me, oh man, I'm gonna be honest. I think it's different from men and women.
Possibly.
I think, possibly.
Possibly. I would agree more as I hear the backup for it. So.
I'll tell you why. Because here's the thing. Like, okay, as a man, I'm trying to. Okay, I can't. It's gonna be. I can't really try to not step on toes here in this episode. It is what it is. If your feelings get hurt, it is what it is. But I think as a man, generally, when you are trying to build this and you're trying to build your kingdom or your empire, you're in a place where, you should not be looking to have you shouldn't need any support or anything outside of what you can bring on your own. Like, and when I say that, I mean, if you aren't able to build your kingdom like within your own and within your own means and within your own capabilities, then there's another issue. There's another like problem there. I think it hinders you more than it hurts you. Now, the only reason I say that is because and we're not even talking about financial and other things like that. It's primarily just based off of your energy and where that energy is going. Mm-hmm. And I think your energy is going to if you're not able to now everyone's different, but if you're not able to put 100% of your focus and your effort into your business, into your whatever you're trying to build, your financial freedom journey, whatever it is you're trying to achieve, if you're not able to put 100% effort and focus, it's going to be delayed. Mm-hmm. You'll get there, but it's going to be delayed. It will take, because it's like at the end of the day, if your energy is a pie, if your mental capital is a pie, and you can only give 100%, yep. How much of it are you going to be giving to your girlfriend, to your whatever case you got going on, or to your business? It's like you can't give 100% to each. Mm-hmm. It ain't gonna happen. So I would say you're better off being single. You're better off focusing on yourself if you're not already in a relationship. Yeah. Now, if you're pursuing financial freedom and you're doing this, it's just gonna slow you down. And at the end of the day, as a man, there should be nothing more important to you than your purpose and whatever it is you're trying to achieve. That should be your number one foremost. Your number one highest priority should be your mission and your purpose. It should not be your girlfriend. It should not be. And if that is not like how you're really approaching it, you're not going to get financial freedom quickly. It's going to be a very, very delayed process. And this is not me telling you, okay, you got to go break up with your girl. Like, that's obviously not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, if you're not in a relationship, it doesn't make sense to go get in one. Like, for that, so if you really know your main thing is financial freedom, want to achieve financial freedom, then it doesn't make sense. Now, as a woman, it's different. Because I'm excited for this one. I think men and women are different. I don't believe men and women. I believe we're equal, but we're different. What I've noticed in my experience, I'm 26 years, so it's like you can take that for what it is. But what I noticed in my life is that generally, women, a lot of times when they focus so much on achieving financial freedom, or not even on their career or their job or business or whatever the case, they tend to forget about and not pay attention to the other aspects of their life, like their femininity and things like that, as far as like building that part of them up, mm-hmm. right? Building that aspect of them up that's going to be a wife or a mother. And so you build, like, women are great at, the career. Like, we see women that are more educated, they're more in jobs than they're in a lot of women are getting paid a lot more than men. And so you see a lot of women killing it in that aspect, but a lot of these women are lacking on the other aspect. So what happens is time goes by. Now you're 35, 40 years old, and you hadn't really put enough. You might be making a lot of money. You might be, let's say you're even financially independent, financially free, whatever, but you didn't put no effort into this. Now you're in a situation where, you might not be as satisfied in life, because generally men and women have, then that's not all, but generally men and women have different values and things that biological things that satisfy you. As a man, like your purpose and protecting and providing is what gives you a sense of value. I don't say worth, but it gives you like, hey, I'm doing something valuable. And as a woman, generally being able to nurture and care for is something that gives you that as well. And so if you're not able to express that part of you because you never focused on it, you don't have a husband or you don't have any candidates, and now you're in that time period, might not be as happy. So the reason I bring that up is because as a woman, you have to be able to do both. This is just my perspective. You have to be able to do both. If you want to achieve financial freedom, you cannot lack that other aspect of your, because I've seen countless women where I know a lot of women where they have a lot of money, they're doing well, but they're lonely. And it's like you're kind of in this situation where you don't feel that you don't feel fulfilled. And because of that, now you kind of have regrets. And so that's why I say generally a lot of women, they forget about that. Like it's so interesting too, because I look at certain people out of certain families and stuff, and they will go to college, and their grandmas and stuff would tell them, hey, come back with a husband and stuff like that. Versus I see other women and they tell them, go get your education, go get your degree, don't worry about a guy, and all these things. And it's like, that's terrible advice for them. And that's why, it is what it is. Men and women are different, and because of that, there's different things. And that's why I think women have to be able to do both. And that's the unfortunate reality as a woman. Like, you got to be able to do both, because as a guy, I can focus only, and let's keep it 100. As a guy, I can focus only on my business, financial freedom, whatever case may be. I can be 40 years old and I can easily, no problem, find a wife. No problem. I can get a wife, it won't be an issue at all. As long as I have, I'm able to do those things, and I make money, and I'm able to protect, provide, do those things. It won't be an issue. As a woman, if you do this, you can follow the same exact route, but it will be a lot tougher for you to be able to find a husband at that time if they're both the same age.
Right.
A lot of the guys you might be looking for they're gonna be looking for younger women generally, and so that's where you put yourself in a conundrum where, like, yo, did you really make the right choice? And so that's why you got to be honest with yourself and know that, like, hey, you can do both. And that's why I say, as a woman, you should date and try to focus on both. And you won't achieve financial freedom as quickly, probably, but it's okay, because if you're the right guy, it won't be an issue. So just don't get with a bum. If you get with a bum, then if you're with a bum, then yeah, you kind of messed up. But don't get with a bum.
Man, I took so many notes on this. I hope I don't take too long with this response. This is a lot that I want to unpack with this. So this is going back to the topic of conversation. We're talking about how does having a significant other affect, in regards to relationships, should the significant other be there, and then how to navigate that. So first off, understand that if you get a significant other, whether you're a male or female, if you're on a financial freedom journey, that requires a level of focus. Because it requires a level of focus, they have to be okay, whether it's a man or woman. If you have a significant other that's going on that journey with you, they have to be okay with you not being present as much as far as relationally. That's point blank period. If you are personally going on a financial freedom journey, you have to find somebody who is okay with that. If you do not, y'all are not gonna last long. Either the relationship not gonna last long, or your journey is not gonna last long as far as financial freedom goes. And I was actually telling my employee this too. This is one of my examples. He was talking about how his girl wants to spend a lot of the money that they're making right now. And I said, you have to do better on sharing that vision of where y'all are going, because if she's not in line with that, then she's either going to delay you, or you're going to have constant battles where you're going to break the relationship all the way up. So they have to be in line with what your vision is. So you have to be very good at casting that vision, and they may not be able to. I want to hit on that financial support point for a minute. They may be more of a financial supporter, but you shouldn't obligate them to be that person either. You should be willing to say, I'm going to figure this out. If you're going on that journey, you have to find other resources. They are there. They didn't sign up to be that person either, in a way. But they may be more willing to as a just because they're there. But I would say you should be more resourceful and figure out ways, and we'll talk about those in a minute too, as far as the relationships to get those financial resources. But going a second level into it, talking to men right now, the advantage that men have over women is the fact that us, by chasing money or chasing financial freedom in this conversation, helps us out. in regards to relationships long term. Like, we are building our value system up to where we are more attracted, we will be more attractive to more women if we are taking care of our business financially. That's point blank. That's how it is.
Yeah, women want to be with you.
Right. So you'll have more, and everybody doesn't mean everybody's a gold digger. That just means that they feel like they can have that. They can be provided for. That's what they're looking for.
That's what they should.
So I know some people are gonna be thinking, oh yeah, y'all just y'all just gonna attract gold diggers. No, people are actually looking for that provision where they can be themselves. They can be their feminine self because of the fact that they know that they're taken care of, and they don't have to worry about those certain things in life. Now, keep in mind also, the focus that you have to put in for financial freedom means that there's going to be an imbalance. You're either going to be focused and in balance, or balanced and out of focus. Like that's your two options right now. So if you are you're on that journey, there's going to be a level of imbalance. So if that significant other is with you during that time, they have to understand that there's going to be that imbalance of work and life balance, because that journey is where you have to put in 100% effort. So he's like, I was talking about earlier with the pie chart, a lot of your time and energy and effort is not going into them, is going to go into the purpose. And so once that is completed, now you may have, if you achieve financial freedom, that means the option to work if you have to, but you may have money coming in regardless. Now you have the time where you can be out of focus and be more balanced. That's when you get there, but not before. And so the good thing about, like I said, for guys, that's works to your benefit, because if you can cast that vision of where you're going with your significant other, they should be more than willing to go on that journey with you, because they know they have better provision for them later.
A feminine woman.
Yes.
So talking about feminine women.
So now we're going to hit on the women piece.
Not those men.
The only problem with women doing the same thing is the fact that level of focus for women is going to help you out on the financial freedom journey as well. The problem, though, is that most guys are not looking for that. And because most guys are looking for that, you have to find the ones who are, or who are okay with that. And you have to be okay with if they're not the one that you want, because the ones that now you have to figure out who is the one that you want. Do you want somebody who is also on their own financial freedom journey that's pursuing that level? You might find one, but at the same time, they may be looking for someone who is more of a supporter, or somebody that Alex mentioned, or has more feminine qualities. By pursuing financial freedom, you are demonstrating more masculine qualities, which I like to use this example because I know people feel some type of way when we had this conversation. If I was to shake somebody's hand and have a really soft handshake, shake a woman's hand, I'm just very soft and very passive and things like that. How does that make the woman feel? They probably, if it's a feminine woman, they probably are actually repulsed by it. Feminine doesn't want to be with other feminine. So masculine as well doesn't want to be with other masculine. It's just a yin and yang type of situation. So if you continue to demonstrate masculine qualities and don't work on feminine at all, you may still, like I said, you can get the financial freedom success, but there's just going to be consequences with that. So that's the difference between the men and women, is the fact that because you're working on this and it's more of a masculine type of thing where you're working on, you are foregoing the other during that time. And like I said, for men, it actually helps out because you are becoming more attractive to the other person, to the feminine woman. Versus the woman, if they're doing it, you're actually becoming less attractive to the masculine man. So that is why it's different. But
and are we done?
No, I kind of am done right there. Yeah.
Okay, so the only thing I think is important to know is just at the end of the day, it's like I said before, men and women are different, and we have different wants and needs and desires. So generally, and I'm just generalizing here. I'm talking for all men and all women. Like, this doesn't fall in for you, then doesn't work for you. But generally, I know me personally as a guy, as a man, I don't necessarily that is a plus to me. Like the fact that you're achieving financial freedom or whatever, you're pursuing your business, all these things, like, it's attractive to me. I love to see ambitious women that are doing that is attractive to me. But it's not something where it's like, if I had to pick. And I'm just keeping it 100 for any women that are listening, is like, yo, if I had to pick between a woman that was, she had the feminine traits, she was a little more, nurturing and caring and softer, but she wasn't necessarily ambitious, and she didn't care about achieving financial freedom, but she was, willing to submit to my mission, versus a woman that was a lot more of a, woman that was ambitious, and she was, a fiery type of woman, go getter, knuck if you buck type of chick, if you will. And that woman is like, she's ambitious, and that's cool, but like if I had to pick, I would not pick her. I'm picking the other woman, just because that is something that is more important to me. And that's why you got to just really understand, especially if you're younger, especially if you're a man, what your temperament is and what your personality type is, so that necessarily the type of person that fits in your life. Because I know generally a woman that's like me ain't gonna work. Mm-hmm. Fire, not gonna work. It'll be another, it's gonna be problems. It's gonna
be fire in the house.
Yeah. It's gonna be problems. So it's either I had to be with a woman that was a little more on the watery side. If we're using the analogy of earth, wind, fire, and air, I had to be with a more of a watery type of woman, and that's because I know how I am, right? Mm-hmm. And generally, I know that type of woman is probably not going to be trying to achieve financial freedom or make $100 million and do all this stuff. So I know that. So I know it's not realistic for me to like try to sit here and find that type of woman in that space.
Right.
So I know better. It's better off for me to just focus 100% on my own journey, on my own mission, and at some point, like I said, I can look up in 10 years and decide, hey, okay, I want to get married now, and it won't be nothing but ease, because now I've built myself up so much to where women, they want that. They're already attracted to that. So I was killing two birds with one stone, really. It's like I was able to attract the type of woman I want, and I was able to build up my life and achieve financial freedom and all those things, because that woman wants that kind of man too. Mm-hmm. So as a woman though, it's a lot tougher, and you just gotta be realistic, and that's where you have to really be self-aware. Like if you want to achieve the financial freedom and want to build a business and all that, that's totally cool. More power to you. Or what are those things they say, girl power, whatever they be saying, like shout out to you. But understand that if there's a certain guy that you want, a guy that's on a certain level, ambitious guy that's kind of, trying to build an empire, do these things, that guy ain't looking for that type of woman. He ain't looking for that, he's not looking for you. He's just keeping on like he's not looking for you. He doesn't care. If that's there, cool, but he doesn't care. It's not necessary. What's more important is your temperament, how you are as a woman, and your personality, and how you treat him, and those kinds of things. That is much more important.
And I think that just goes to just prove the point of that's why it is important to be able to do both, because it is a plus that you are on your journey, like you're on your own personal journey. I commend you for it. But you are tasked now with the responsibility of being able to do both. Because like I said, it is more of a masculine thing that's going to make you less attractive by nature. Because like I said, if I'm going to be a feminine man coming towards you, you wouldn't want that. Yeah. So it's the same thing and working in reverse. And so if you're going to demonstrate more masculine qualities, you have to be able to balance it out by still showing that you can be feminine too. Yep. If you want a masculine man.
And if you can do both, hit my DMs. we can have a conversation.
So I'm not going to discourage you, but I will say I'm not going to discourage you from pursuing financial freedom too. I'm going to just tell you that what is going to be the intended and unintended consequences of doing so.
You're a unicorn if you can do both.
Most definitely.
You're a unicorn. You're a very rare species. I've seen very few, but I've seen a couple. Very few. Yeah, so that was the significant others I want to talk about. So continuing on, I know we have just a couple more I want to talk about. One was actually, so other relationships that you need to have during your financial freedom journey. You mentioned earlier the investor part. And I think that was important to talk about because there are people that will support you financially, but you have to, like you were showing in multiple cases, you have to build your own personal resume along the way beforehand. So this is where you are now getting what he calls skin in the game. Whether you're putting up your own capital by showing that like you are betting on what your idea is. Whether it's buying the products or going out and marketing on your own, or doing something that's showing that like in regards to like selling a product, or saying that I'm willing to put down this much money into this investment property. These type of things are showing that you are committed just as much as you want somebody else to be committed. That's going to make people more willing to invest with you, especially if you show that you have the knowledge base as well. And so these people, like I said, investors, they are willing to work with you. I actually want to show another example of our personal situation with our cars.
We had 10 cars before we asked anybody for a car to add to our fleet. We didn't start off by saying, I have no cars in my fleet. I've never run a business before, but can somebody give me 10 cars to add to my business so I can learn how to do it? We didn't do that. We went and got 10 cars, ran it for a whole year, and then we said, okay, we have a solid system of how to run this. And we can show, now we are looking for investors who want to work with us to add cars to our fleet. They're much more willing to work with you now as opposed to before you had done anything. So, but they are very important to your journey, but you have to be resourceful early on to figure out, how can I get to the next level without help? Yeah. The more you do without help, the more help you'll get, because now people want to be associated with success. That's the biggest thing about it. It's a what's in it for me type of situation. They are glad to be associated with you because they know that you're successful. That's why you're able to gain a lot more as you continue on your journey, because now people see that you're about your business. People get more followers on social media when they're doing something, not when they're doing nothing. The more you do, the more people are going to be attracted to you by nature. You don't have to work for it. You don't have to work as hard to get people to look at you or try to help you out if you are doing something already on your own. So that's the biggest thing with the investors. You're going to get investors the more that you put in on your own to
do these things. We had one of our guests on the show. I remember Donovan Adesor. He talked about how he went and got turned down 40 different times by different investors. That's but eventually somebody said no. Somebody said yes. So it's always possible for you to go and raise capital and make and get people to invest into whatever it is you're trying to do, whatever idea you had. This doesn't even have to be real estate. People with money are willing to invest into any person that they believe in, right? And so the key becomes, how do I make someone believe in me? So if you can do that, then by all means. I just am more of an advocate or a proponent of, depending on the thing, whatever it is, put your own capital up, put your own money up. If you really believe in it, it shouldn't be an issue. Now, if you don't have money, cool, I understand. It's totally understandable why you would want to go raise capital and do these things, but just understand from that person's it's not going to be easy to do that without having proven track record. It's not going to be easy to raise capital. That's why, like I said, he got turned down 40 times.
That was my point.
Because he didn't have a track record. And so, but once he had a track record, he was able to easily get money, right? Now it's no issue to get money, right? When we were flipping houses and, I got the first person to lend us money, it was easy to get other people to lend you money now. It's easy to get people to believe in you what someone else has. So in the beginning, it's always going to be, the hardest.
That's the toughest part to overcome.
Yeah, to get through it. But at some point, it always gets a lot easier. It always gets a lot simpler once you've done it successfully. And if you truly believe in what it is you're doing, then it shouldn't be an issue.
Right. And that's a perfect example with Donovan, because some people that you don't have the money and you're going to continue to seek out investors. Understand that it's not a requirement to have the experience, but the experience makes it way easier. So if you don't have the experience, your options can be fund it yourself. If you can't fund it yourself, continue to look for investors like he did. He just said, I know there's somebody out there that is willing to invest in me, even though nobody else has, or even though I don't have any skin in the game. And so that just means it's a numbers game. So you can pursue it that way. It may take longer, but just understand that your odds are going to be a lot better with experience. And that doesn't mean that your odds are impossible without experience. So it's up to you about having a drive of believing in what you're going to do enough to where you're going to continue to seek out who's going to be that person. So
yeah, man, you either got to have time or money. So
right,
whichever one it is, but you got to have something.
Or you can't say I have nothing. I don't have no time. I don't have no money. Like, so why don't you have no money if you don't have no time either?
Yes,
what are you spending your time on?
If you ain't got no money, why would I want to invest with you?
Right. So you had to make yourself appealing to that investor. Because I remember when we first got our partners, like we talked to probably 30 people before somebody invested with us. Yeah. But now people are in my DMs like, hey man, you still taking cars? Like, because they've seen that we can do it. Now it's way easier to get investors. Now you have to start turning people down. So that's how it works. So I want to talk about just one more. So you actually gave an example earlier that I want to tie back into. This is back before we even start the topic. You talked about how you looked at Kobe and like his mentality in regards to just how he approaches hitting his goals. That was important because that's another relationship that I think is very important on the financial freedom journey, is mentors or people that you can look up to that are where you want to be, whether it's mentally, it's financially, or physically, whatever that may be. finding that person and trying and just continuously feeding yourself how they think or how do they achieve where they're currently at. Because whether it's their mentality, like I said, whether it's financially, they did something to get where they are to gain the level of success that you need to continue to feed yourself. Because in reality, there's a lot of other influences that are going to be around you on a day-to-day basis that may derail your financial freedom journey. But you have to continue to stay focused on who is there already that you want to be, that you are trying to become like in a way, and continuously feed yourself what they have. Whether that's somebody that you can actually speak to, like a coach, or whether that's somebody that you may not be able to speak to, but you can continue to find more information about what they did, or they may have a program, or they may have just different interviews that they've done. Continuously put that into your, like, continuously feed yourself that information, because that's going to keep you driven, because you're there where you want to be, and all they're going to give you the information to get there. And it's all just a matter of continuously surrounding yourself with that type of environment, as opposed to what the world may have to offer you.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a good last one, because, at the end of the day, you have to have someone that you can either look up to or draw inspiration from. Mm-hmm. And regardless of if that's just within your specific business or industry or profession or whatever, or just in general from your mentality, and just in the sense of how to approach things. I think it's very important, because that is how you can continue to remain motivated. And it's important to be able to draw external, because at some point, you run out of that internal, or it gets a lot harder to find internal motivation when things do get tougher. So finding a way to, source some of that external inspiration or motivation is very important. And I think mentors, whether it's a digital mentor, a coach, or just someone that you know of in your life personally, whatever, that kind of relationship that you have with someone, whether they know you back or not, is important to kind of have something like that and be able to formulate something to some capacity like that, because it's going to help you navigate this and really be able to, accelerate that timeline a lot faster. And definitely if you hire a coach or something like that, yep, that's probably the way you can accelerate, for a lot of people, accelerate that timeline a lot faster and help you get to where you want to really get to a lot quicker, because essentially, they're paid to literally, they know how to extract the best out of people. That's literally what they're paid to do as a coach. So, you just had to really be aware of what kind of person you are and what you're looking for, and kind of the situation you're in.
Right. No, that's for sure. So, that was my entire list that I wanted to talk about. Like, there were all the different relationships. There's many different relationships you can have in regards to your financial freedom journey, but I thought those were some key ones, because I had to first talk about the ones that people may see initially, like the personal relationships with family, friends, significant other, and then the ones that you need to be seeking more of, like the mentors, coaches, investors. And that way you can, if you've been leaning too much on the family and friends, now you can start leaning more towards the people that can help you and are willing to help you along the way during your journey, outside of just like the actual customers that you should be targeting anyway. So
yes, sir.
That was the major part for me. I think I'm all out for the day.
Cool. So what we'll do to wrap up the show is our last segment, which is Ask the Monopolizers.
How can I be successful? How can I follow the path that someone else has laid for me to be successful?
Ask the Monopolizers.
So what questions do you have?
Yeah, so I got one more actually from Mr. Bouncy. Actually answers this one too on Instagram. He's Mr._Bouncy41. He says, what's the easiest part?
Dang, he getting all the questions?
Yeah, shout out to him. He answered a couple at a time. So
nobody else asked them? Or they want good?
No, I didn't. Nah, I would just say no.
Okay. So y'all are not asking good questions, so obviously. Ask better questions.
Yeah, so I like this one was I'm curious on how this one's going to come out. What's the easiest part of becoming financially free? So I thought I had to think about that for a second.
The easiest part. I wonder why he wants to know that. Why does that matter?
Yeah, I was just curious to see what the answer you come up with would be.
There's nothing easy. The easiest part, I mean, it depends who you ask. I don't. In what aspect? That's a very broad question.
It is a broad question, so it's gonna be you can get a whole array of answers. Right?
Come on, Mr. Bouncy. You gotta ask better questions.
The last question was really good.
Last question was good. Shout out to that one. I don't know. You answer it first.
Yeah, so I even though I've seen it for the longest, I'm really trying to think about how to answer it. So the easiest part to becoming financially free, I would say the only thing that makes things easy is when you see anybody else that is going along that journey of some sort. I think that, because nothing, like Alex said, nothing really makes it easy, because it's something that not a lot of people are doing, and it's something that you have to do a lot more learning about, because you probably haven't been taught that early on growing up anyway. So it's a journey in itself. But I guess the easiest thing is like doing it when you have other people that are doing it alongside. Not even just, maybe not in a physical same place, but if you know of like a community group or anybody that you know that is going on that journey with you, being able to have somebody that you can bounce ideas off of or bounce your struggles off of, and having that person that's just there along the way with you. I think that probably was what makes it the easiest.
I'm surprised you didn't add that to the group of people in the relationships.
That probably should be there in the group of people relationships. I
Like
actually
like friends or something.
Yeah,
community.
I was looking to just close it down. I had something similar to that. So I was going to say mentees of the coaches, or like people, pretty much. But it's more online actually. It's like the people that are in the same general field as you, because the mentor is somebody who has multiple mentees or multiple people that look up to him. There's multiple people who look up to Kobe, as an example. So everybody has I want to be like Kobe mentality.
We're talking about people on the same playing field as you, pretty much.
Correct, basically. So that would be like another person that you can add on your financial freedom journey. I think that's what makes it the easiest to navigate financial freedom.
One thing we should have talked about is friends. I think just in the sense of whether, like, because I know one thing that's come up specifically I've seen recently is a lot of guys would say that they don't have like-minded people around them, and their friends aren't like similarly minded because you kind of grew up with them, and you know, you kind of changed but they didn't. I would say drop them. Like, that's just me straight up. Like, I would tell you, just, you know, drop them and really just move. Hey, you mean you could try, but at the end of the day, me personally, I know we differ differently. We very differently. We vary greatly on this, just in the sense of like, I'm not here to save anyone. I'm not here to like try to drag anyone along. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna tell you, and if you ain't coming, I'm gonna just leave you. But I can't make you drink the water.
Facts.
I can't. Yo, I can only tell you about it. So me personally, I would say that having, you know, people, you're better off doing it alone than trying to drag people around.
Yeah, you're better off doing it alone than with the wrong people, because you probably sustain yourself a lot more. So I don't drop people just because the relationship may not be in that realm, but I won't spend as much time with you because my focus is not on what we used to do as far as the old friends, because now my focus is on building this financial freedom journey. We mentioned earlier, it takes 100% focus. So you need to find people who are in line with that. And that's where most of your time is going to probably be spent from here on out, because this journey is not something that is going to happen overnight. It's something that takes, like we talked about with Kobe. You wake up each day and you say, am I at my goal yet? If I'm not there, I got to do it all again tomorrow. I can't just take a week off and say, okay, well, this week wasn't for me, so I'm about to just go ahead and spend the rest of my week just doing whatever my old friends used to do. I need to block in every single day. That's the level of focus that's required on the financial freedom journey, especially when I hit it in a short timeline. So that's why it's important to find people around you that are in a similar, that are like-minded. And that can be like the bonus addition that you need to have along your financial freedom journey in regards to relationships.
Yeah, definitely. But just to go back to that question real quick, I think the easiest part, kind of just similar to what you said, is just knowing that you know, there's someone or other people that are like trying to do it too, and you're not kind of alone. So that makes it easier. I wouldn't say it's easy, but that just makes it easier,
right?
To do it, just as like, you know, because it's like, hey, cool, you know, I have people around me that are trying to actually achieve, and even if it's not something the same exact thing, same thing to the same degree, as long as there's people around you trying to achieve more and do better, that makes it easier.
Right.
And you know, that makes it more enjoyable too, to be able to do that if they're doing the same thing much better. It's like we talked about that a couple episodes ago, where that was like, you know, that's rare, where you're able to find somebody doing that, like someone close to you that's doing that. if you have that, it's amazing. That'll definitely help you significantly.
Facts.
But if you don't, it is what it is. You were dealt that hand, and you just gotta like kind of go on. But finding somebody that's like-minded and able to do that, then I think that's very important. I think shout out, that reminds me too, because I'm a part of this group called The Standard.
Mm-hmm.
That's made by Hafiz and Joseph Hines from the roommate, or Hafiz from the roommates and his partner Joseph. And it's like a whole community of like men that are strictly just trying to improve their life in all aspects, physically, financially, emotionally, spiritually, relationships, everything. They're just trying to improve their life. And it's like, there's guys in there that are just leveling up. I see them all the time, and they're doing dope stuff. And that kind of like community is important to have. So, if that's something you're interested in, and if you're a guy listening, then definitely check that out. It's called The Standard. Just, look that up on the Affluent Standard on Instagram, and you could find them. And that's like something you could tap into as well. So, yeah, man. But yeah, I think that's a great question for the most part. And we can kind of, is that it?
Yes, sir. That's all we got. I'll put out a poll, I guess, because nobody sends them just on their own. So.
Yeah. So, but yes, that's all we got for this week. So that is it for this episode of the Money Monopolizers podcast. New episodes will be released every Thursday and will be available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Just search Money Monopolizers wherever you listen to podcasts. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, we'd appreciate if you rated us 5 stars and left us a review on Apple Podcasts. You can also find out more info about us on IG at Money Monopolizers. We post informative content on there, so be sure to like those posts. But till then, we'll see y'all next time.
You've been listening to the Money Monopolizers podcast, helping you take control of your financial destiny. To learn more about how you can be in control of your money, visit moneymonopolizers.com. We'll catch you next time when Alex and Marlon share more personal finance and wealth creation tips with you. Now it's time to take action.